The observation deck of the Krevath warship Dominion's fist hummed with the confidence of 1,000 previous conquests. Commander Zaltek watched the blue marble rotate below, its primitive electromagnetic emissions barely registering on tactical displays designed to track quantum-entangled battle networks. Another per-contact species, Zaltek clicked, his translator rendering the disdain perfectly. Chemical propulsion, fission reactors, they haven't even achieved stable fusion. His tactical officer agreed. Per Galactic Protocol 7 Alpha, such civilizations warranted a demonstration strike, enough to break their will, establish dominance, and integrate them into the collective as a client species. Standard procedure. The Krevath had done this 412 times. What they didn't know was that Earth had been watching them for 6 months. Lieutenant Commander Aliana Reeves floated in the microgravity of Station Galileo, humanity's first true deep space black site, built in the shadow of Jupiter's radiation belts where no conventional sensors could detect it. Around her, holographic displays showed every detail of the alien fleet, 17 warships arranged in the classic Krevath intimidation formation. Quantum communications, she said, pointing to the data streams her team had decoded. Plasma-based weapons, graviton shielding. She turned to the man beside her. They're 3 centuries ahead of what we've publicly demonstrated, James. Dr. James Chen, DARPA's lead physicist for the Prometheus Initiative, nodded grimly. His fingers danced across haptic interfaces, pulling up schematics that officially didn't exist. But they don't know about quantum foam manipulation. They don't know about the Philadelphia experiments we've kept classified for 80 years. They think we're still playing with rockets. Aliana's jaw tightened. The aliens had sent their demands through every radio frequency. Submit or be destroyed. They'd given Earth 48 hours. That deadline expired in 4 minutes. Prometheus package is ready, James confirmed. But Aliana, once we use this, we can't put the genie back. Every species out there will know what we're capable of. They chose to threaten us, Aliana said coldly. They expected primitive soldiers. Let's show them what human scientists built while the rest of the galaxy played by their protocols. Zaltek watched the countdown. In 90 seconds, his fleet would vaporize the human settlement called New York, sufficient demonstration of Krevath superiority. His weapons charged, graviton matrices cycling to full power. Then something impossible happened. Every sensor on the Dominion's fist screamed warnings simultaneously. Space itself was tearing open, not through conventional wormhole technology, but through something far more violent. The fabric of reality rippled as if reality was liquid, not solid. "Commander," his tactical officer shrieked. "Spatial anomaly at bearing everywhere, it's everywhere." From 16 different points around Earth's orbit, tears in spacetime manifested. But these weren't the gentle quantum tunnels of FTL travel. These were wounds, forced open by technology that shouldn't exist, quantum foam manipulation on a scale that violated every known principle of galactic physics. Through each tear, something emerged. They looked like simple metallic spheres, each barely 5 meters across. No weapons visible, no shielding detectable. To Krevath sensors, they barely registered as threats. Zaltek's instinct screamed otherwise. Fire on those objects, all batteries. Plasma bolts lanced across the void. Each one should have vaporized the primitive constructs. Each one passed through them as if they weren't there. "They're phased," James explained from Station Galileo, watching the alien fleet's panicked response. "Existing 0.03 seconds ahead of normal spacetime. Their weapons can't touch something that hasn't technically arrived yet." The spheres moved, not with thrust or conventional propulsion, but by manipulating their position in spacetime itself. They simply chose to be in different locations, and reality complied. One sphere positioned itself directly in front of the Dominion's fist. "Graviton shields at maximum," Zaltek ordered. Nothing could penetrate Krevath's shielding. It bent space itself around the ship. The sphere phased back into normal spacetime. Inside the shield perimeter. "Oh God," Aliana whispered, watching from 300 million kilometers away. She'd run the simulations 1,000 times, but seeing it happen was different. "James, are we?" "We're committing," James said quietly. "No turning back." The sphere detonated. Not with explosive force, not with radiation or plasma. It collapsed the quantum foam within a 10-kilometer radius, creating a localized region where the probability of atomic bonds existing dropped to zero. Matter didn't explode. It simply ceased to have the fundamental properties that made it matter. The Dominion's fist, pride of the Krevath fleet, stopped being a ship. For 0.05 seconds, the atoms that composed it forgot how to hold together. Then probability reasserted itself. But by then, those atoms were expanding in every direction at significant fractions of light speed. 15 more spheres moved to positions around the remaining Krevath vessels. "Attention Krevath fleet," Aliana broadcast on their quantum channels, another technology they didn't know Earth possessed. "You expected primitive soldiers. You expected Protocol 7 Alpha. You expected we'd submit to your demonstration of force." The spheres held position, patient and terrifying. "You miscalculated. Humanity doesn't follow your protocols. We've been preparing for this moment since 1947 when your scout probe crashed in our desert. We've studied your technology, surpassed it, hidden our capabilities until you showed your intentions." Zaltek stared at his tactical display in horror. 16 vessels remained. 16 spheres waited. The mathematics was brutal. "You have 10 seconds to withdraw from Earth space," Aliana continued. "Or we demonstrate that your protocols mean nothing to a species that learned war before we learned agriculture." James pulled up the next generation Prometheus designs, weapons even more terrifying than the quantum foam disruptors. "If they don't retreat." "They will," Aliana said. She'd studied the Krevath psychology profiles. They were conquerors, yes, but they were also pragmatists who'd ruled through overwhelming force for millennia. They'd never encountered prey that bit back with such precision. "They're powering down weapons," the communications officer reported. They're running." The Krevath fleet tore, opened conventional wormholes and fled, leaving behind the expanding debris field that had been their flagship. Aliana let out a breath she didn't know she'd been holding. "Recall the Prometheus units, seal the quantum tiers." "We just rewrote Galactic First Contact protocols," James said softly. "They'll come back. Maybe not the Krevath, but someone will, with fleets, with allies." Aliana nodded, watching Earth rotate peacefully below. "Then we'd better keep building. They expected primitive soldiers. Next time, we show them what happens when you threaten a species that turned quantum physics into weapons while you were following protocols." The spheres phased out of reality, retreating to their hidden construction bays in Jupiter's storms. Earth's first contact war had lasted 4 minutes. The message to the galaxy was clear. Humanity didn't play by anyone's rules but their own.